Hi everybody, this is a quick video to show you how to take through Design Space this new SVG to cut a lovely elf themed bottle box if you're going to give anybody a bottle of wine or something at Christmas. So this is a big box. It takes a full size 750 ml bottle of wine, which is about 75 millimeters wide, 2 3/4 inches, and about 30 centimeters tall, about 11.5 inches. You do need the long mat for this project because parts of it need to be cut from A3 or 12 by 24 if you can't get A3 where you are. So you get the basic box. The basic box is the same, and you just get different options for trim. You can use these gold buttons on a red placket or red ones on a green one, or you can miss that green placket out completely if you want to and just use the red buttons straight onto the box. I don't think there's anything else to show you about them really. Just close-ups there, and that's the bottle in the box. Okay, let's get into Design Space and show you how to cut it. So there it is in my library. I'll bring it in. So the first step, as usual, with any multi-part cut file with score lines that you bring in, you've got to convert those lines that come in as cuts which actually need to be scores. And in my files, they always live in that first subgroup in your layers panel. If a cut file with score lines has been saved correctly, it will come in 3 groups. You'll have this overall group that has everything in it, and in it there'll be 2 subgroups. And if it's to make it as easy as possible, all those lines that need converting to scores should be in one, and all the cuts will be in another. So you just click on the name of that first subgroup for my files. That selects everything within it. Go to your operations menu, click where it says basic cut, and then choose score from the drop down. And you can see that they get converted. And because there's more than one set, we can see that there are 3 separate items that have scores in this file. We need to ungroup them so we can attach them individually in a minute. So ungroup for me is at the top of the layers panel. I'm using the desktop version for PC. So you just ungroup them. Second step is to select that group underneath that contains all the cuts and any tiny cuts within them. All we need to do here is ungroup. And then finally select everything on screen any way you want to do it. It's quickest since you're working in your layers panel to just click at the top, but you can also use the select all button, or you can just drag a box to enclose everything. When you've done that, ungroup a 3rd time. So now everything on screen is separate, all the scores are separate, each cutting piece is separate, and you can attach the scores to the individual pieces that they relate to. And I think the quickest way to do that is just to click on canvas somewhere near a piece, drag a box to more or less enclose it, and click attach, which for me is at the bottom of the layers panel there. Do that for each piece on screen that has score lines, and in this file that's this gable top, the main box, and the belt. Don't worry about not knowing what these pieces are. You do get a PDF of really detailed instructions showing you how to assemble it. And as always, with my PDF, they start off with a diagram labelling every piece of your SVG so you know exactly what you're dealing with. Okay, that's the little placket that goes down the front. Obviously, that's your buckle and the buttons. That's the base of the box. No scores on those. So let's click Make It and see what happens. So the belt will cut from A4, won't cut from letter. So if you can't get A4, you'll need 12 by 12 for that. The buckle and the buttons that you might cut to match it obviously will cut from a tiny scrap that you'll just put anywhere on your mat where it fits. Now the main box and the base, you will look at what you can select, and you can select A3 because the main box on its own will fit on an A3, but you can see that it puts the base on a separate sheet. So we can do a little sneaky thing here. Obviously you've got to use your long mat anyway, there's no getting away from that because this main big box that holds the bottle won't fit on a sheet of 12 by 12. So you're using the long mat anyway. So you're going to tell it that you're using 12 by 24 card. 12 by 24 is easier to say than 30.5 by 61, isn't it? So you're going to tell it that you're using that long card that Cricut make, and you can get from other places as well. But in the UK, you're just going to use a piece of A3 maybe drop it a couple of millimeters away from that very top edge, and it will fit, and it will cut within the 420mm that A3 is. I actually just put mine right at the top and it cuts just fine. So in Europe or the UK, you're going to use the long mat and a sheet of A3 here. If you're in the US where you can't get A3, it's too wide, pardon me, for tabloid, unfortunately. So you are going to have to use a piece of poster board that you've cut down to fit your mat, or a sheet of 12 by 24. Poster board is probably a good bet if you can get it, and cut it down to about 43 centimeters long, and then that will fit nicely. For the red pieces, this again, if you're in Europe, just choose A3 and it all fits neatly on one sheet of A3. And actually, you can choose tabloid as well. But these bits will actually cut from 12 by 12, and I'm just going to show you how to quickly do that if you need to. So if we look at a photograph of the box, we can see that that red placket there, this central red strip, goes underneath. Goes underneath the gable top. I've made it so that it goes right to the top, which possibly is a little bit wasteful, but I just did it because that's the length of the box. But if you don't have any red tabloid or A3 paper, you could cut this from 12 by 12. And I'm just going to quickly show you how. You can probably guess. So that's your placket there. It's only fractionally too long to cut from 12 by 12. This fits easily on a 12 by 12, and obviously the little buttons will slot in anywhere. So what you're going to do here is you're going to bring a piece in. This is only if you want to cut it on 12 by 12. Don't worry if you don't. You're just going to pop it over the end of there, not very far up, maybe a centimetre up, and click slice. Select both and click slice, that was. And so now this piece, oops, I don't think I've cut enough off there. Has it changed at all? That's weird. Oh yes, it has. I'm looking at the wrong dimension. Yeah, okay. Right, we'll click make it, and I'll just look at the red sheet now. And I think I'm gonna have to do it again once I've done this. But obviously that will easily fit on 12 by 12 now. Let me see if it'll let me pick it. Yeah, so it's going to let me fit 12 by 12, but it's going to put this on a sheet on its own. I don't know why. So we're just going to click Move Object. Going to move it onto that red mat there, and then turn it round. And it will fit. I mean, you could put it right over there and put the buttons anywhere you want, couldn't you? But just by slicing a tiny piece off the end of that placket, where it won't matter because it tucks up underneath that red gable top anyway, you can actually cut all your red from 12 by 12 if you want to. I do say that in the instructions as well, but I tell you to look at the video to show you what to do, and that's what you need to do. You just need to slice a tiny bit off the end of there. Okay, I hope that's helped. If you've got any issues when you come to cut it or assemble it, please don't hesitate to get in touch. This is not a difficult file to assemble. It is one that you need to be pretty careful with to make sure that everything matches up. But it really does make a beautiful box when it's finished. If you need to get in touch, you can do it on Facebook or Etsy. The links to do that are in the description below. And if you just stumbled across this video and you'd like to buy the SVG, the link to do that is also in the description below. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.